The winner to organize the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
It's been 12 years since former FIFA President Sepp Blatter opened the envelope and revealed Qatar as the host of the Football World Cup. A decision that shocked the football world back then and continues to shock even now. At the time, Qatar had just one football stadium, the Khalifa Stadium, but now the desert has turned into an oasis of sorts with 8 world-class stadiums mushrooming around what will be the tiniest country to host a Football World Cup. The focus so far, quite rightly, has been on the deaths of the migrant workers, including hundreds, if not thousands of Indians, human rights abuses, the disruption to the football calendar, and corruption, all of which Qatar denies. And now, after a long build-up to the most controversial Football World Cup ever, here we are at the starting line of a month-long extravaganza. Sandip G is joining us today to guide us through what is an impossible task of previewing 32 teams of a World Cup, the first Winter World Cup. But we'll try. We'll try to figure out which teams are the best to follow. And we'll also look at what truly is an end of an era World Cup. But before we dive into all those things, Sandip G, you will be Express's eyes and ears on ground in Qatar. And it hasn't been an easy ride even before it begins.
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely. I mean, among whatever events I've covered, this has been the most annoying one in a sense, because you got to fix a lot of things. Like, you need to get the hire card to get there, and then you need to get the accommodation, which was absolutely overpriced. I'm staying in perhaps cheapest accommodation that is available there. It's like the normal hotels and stuff like that. It's daily some $1,000 per night. I'm not staying in any of those fancy places. I'm staying in a humble $80, which by the way is
humble $80. $80 is never humble.
Yeah, man. But that is in Qatar it is humble. That is arguably the cheapest accommodation you could manage there.
Oh, well, it's crazy, right? All the ridiculous things that are associated with the World Cup. I mean, I just recently got a mail from, I don't know who it was, whether it was directly from the Saudi Arabian government or one of the PR agencies that have been hired over there, but it was selling the idea of making Saudi Arabia your base to stay during the World Cup and then do a 5-hour road trip for the matches. I'm sure, and I know plenty of people from India and the UK who are doing that with Dubai, making Dubai their base and traveling back and forth. You mentioned hire card and stuff. What exactly is that, though?
It's basically an identity card, where, they have all the details of you. Just a photograph and a QR scan thing is there, but it's without wearing one, you cannot enter the country. It's like a visa, basically. And it is still better for press, because you don't need to show the accommodation proof to manage one hire card. But for others, you need to first book the ticket, fix the hotel, and you do everything, and then only you can. And you have to have a ticket as well, a match day ticket also, to actually apply for a hire card.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you just cannot go there. Okay, you just get a ticket to Doha, and you can just board a flight and land there, and and buy ticket. That was not possible there. Mostly, as you go there, you soak in the atmosphere. Even if you get a ticket, you just be around the place. You just feel the atmosphere. There are thousands who actually never have seen a World Cup match, but been in and around the stadium, just soaking in the atmosphere. But that's not possible this time.
And absolutely, that's the charm of a World Cup, right? I mean, you have people coming from all over the world descending upon a city or a country and just enjoying that experience. And Qatar, in a way, that's what they promised when the bid was announced and when they were making their presentations, that this will be the most accessible World Cup, perhaps also the cheapest World Cup. They sold the promise of fans traveling to 3 or 4 matches in a day because everything is so close by. None of that has actually turned out to be right.
Yeah, even fans watching 4 matches. Tickets are only given for a fan can watch just 2 games a day, and that too not he cannot watch consecutive games. If there are 4 matches a day, you can watch the first one and you can watch the fourth one. Watch the third one, or either you can watch the second one or the fourth one. So even that is a failed promise.
Oh, well, the thing is that once the games begin, all these issues tend to kind of fade into the background. Now, of course, with certain issues, for example, the human rights issues and the deaths of migrant workers. These are the topics that I guess will be debated, discussed during the World Cup as the matches go by. In fact, Shashank and I had done a Three Things podcast on this topic. We'll share the link to it in the episode description. But Sandeep, if we were to talk about football, because I mean, eventually it all comes down to that. This certainly will be an end of an era, right? For so many players. I mean, we talk about Ronaldo and Messi, of course, but also for Luka Modric, Manuel Neuer, Jordi Alba, and Angel Di Maria, Luis Suarez, Edinson Cavani, Eden Hazard, Antoine Griezmann. So many players, Robert Lewandowski, Gareth Bale, Vidal, so many players playing their last World Cup. And how do you kind of encapsulate all this? I mean, we'll of course get into Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo, but all these stars, I mean, we've spent a lot of years watching them. A final World Cup for these guys will certainly be interesting to see how it all kind of goes out in Qatar.
It shows a bit of our age as well. Like the players are aging with us. The players who once started as teenagers. Now,
thank God we aren't retiring yet.
Yeah. Long way to go. And we are not moneyed as them yet. Or will.
I mean, yeah, and we are struggling for a $80 room in Qatar. So yeah, not moneyed at all.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I mean, the fascinating thing I found that, I mean, none of these players, like, I mean, all these players in the late 30s and mid 30s, I mean, they're not slowing down at all. Like, I mean, you look at Thiago Silva, he's been Chelsea's best player in the last couple of seasons. You see Ronaldo showing flashes of brilliance. I mean, whenever he gets a chance to play.
That is a Manchester United fan in you speaking, by the way.
Yeah. Lewandowski he's scoring a lot of goals. I mean, so Manuel Neuer is still the same, and he darts out from the box. So as I said, they have actually made age look like just a number. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that in another 4 years, teams will go through these cycles where, they'll think of like, okay, even playing day in and day out takes a lot of emotional toll on the player. So eventually they'll also fade out. Like, for example, Manuel Neuer, I don't know, next World Cup he'll be 38, 39, he won't be there. These guys like Vidal, and of course, like, I mean, sort of a sunset in the career. But you've seen Zinedine Zidane in 2006. He was like 34, 35. Then he actually was as good as he was in 98. So these guys could make a difference, actually. And let's see whether there's a fairy tale ending to so many of their careers. If Ronaldo wins a World Cup, you can call it a fairy tale ending. If Messi wins a World Cup, you can call it a fairy tale ending. Luka Modric, of course, poor guy, he's still the heartbeat of both Croatia and Real Madrid, which, and Gareth Bale, of course, that will be some fascinating story if he can lead Wales to.
Gareth Bale winning the World Cup, huh?
Yeah.
Or winning a match at the World Cup.
I think winning the match at the World Cup, yeah.
But you mentioned Ronaldo a couple of times, Sandeep, now.
Yeah.
I mean, for us who were literally feeding on cricket for the last month or so, Ronaldo has kind of dragged us into the zone for football with his explosive interview with Piers Morgan. We don't want to waste time talking about whatever is happening at Manchester United between him and the club, but it shows the mindset that he'll be heading into the World Cup. And I really doubt if it's a healthy thing for Portugal to be in. I mean, you mentioned whenever he plays at Manchester United, right? I mean, with Portugal, it's going to be trickier, or you think Portugal just anyway play a brand of football where Ronaldo's lack of tracking or lack of defensive effort doesn't really matter that much?
They also actually like to play a very progressive game. I mean, somehow this manager, Fernando Santos, has managed it because, like, in a way, Portugal...
Not the perennial 1-0 team.
No. In a way, Portugal actually play better looking football when he doesn't play, but he invariably plays him because... And no, apart from the defenders, nobody has racked in as many minutes as Ronaldo has for Portugal in the entire qualifying campaign and the friendly matches. So that tells a trust Santos has in Cristiano Ronaldo. He's still scoring goals. Racking up assists. So there are structural problems within Portugal's side when you want to include Ronaldo. He slows them down. He doesn't press as rigorously as some of those youngsters do, but certainly this guy has somehow managed to fit in Ronaldo without disrupting the balance of the team. So, and this guy will be super motivated. He just needs a spark. He's in a sense, he's like Virat Kohli. He always needs that feeling, okay, someone, that siege mentality he needs to have.
Yeah, and we remember how Ronaldo came out pumping at the 2018 World Cup for the first match against Spain, scoring a hat trick. That set the tone, but Portugal went out quite early. This time they have an incredibly talented team, not just Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo right now looks, dare I say, but least talented of them all. I mean, behind him there is Bruno Fernandes, Diego Jota, Silva. There is Ruben Neves, Diaz.
Silva, such a beautiful passer of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, there's João Cancelo. There's so many. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's a loaded squad. But the question then is for Ronaldo to lift the trophy, how does Fernando Santos use him or strike a balance within the squad?
In Qatar, maybe these high pressing games, we won't actually see too many high press teams that high press because of the climate there and all those stuff. So there might actually, some teams will actually play more vertical kind of a game where they look to sit a bit deep and then attack on the counters. Like, and Portugal is very good at that because they have pacey players also. Pacey players, they have these players like Bernardo Silva who can just key one pass and kill the game. So that in such a team plan, actually, such a game plan, actually, Ronaldo could work very well because, like, he's if you have quality service, expect this guy to score a lot of goals. And they have people who can give a lot of quality feats like Silva, Fernandes, Jota. So if the service is good, this guy is going to rock this World Cup.
It will be certainly shame if Portugal, with the kind of talent they have, they do not make it beyond the quarterfinals or at least the quarterfinals. They are in also a very tricky group. I mean, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. Not easy to get out of this group, and if they emerge out of it, then who knows what can happen, Sandeep.
Seriously, that's a crazy group. I mean, group of death of this tournament, maybe.
There is group of death also in Group B, but we'll I don't know if we have time to discuss that. But certainly this is one of them.
Yeah. Uruguay is a solid team. South Korea with Heung-min Son. So yeah, Ghana is a very rejuvenated side too, and you never know. Like, but when you look at the quality that Portugal possesses, they should be the favorites to top this group.
Favorites to
and that'll be interesting. Suarez Ronaldo meeting will be very interesting.
I mean, you said favorites to top the group. Now, of course, there is so much to a football World Cup that, like I said, it's impossible humanly to wrap everything up in 30 minutes. So in these 30 minutes that you'll be listening, you are listening to, we'll be focusing on three teams. One, Portugal is of course done. His nemesis, Ronaldo's nemesis, Lionel Messi. Now, Sandeep, whatever we talk about this guy, it's not going to be enough ever. This is Messi's last dance. He has said so. He is in his fifth World Cup, always fallen short, came closest in 2014, losing in the final over there. I feel that whatever this World Cup, the build-up, the controversy surrounding it, whatever little hope there is to salvage something from this World Cup, a Messi World Cup win would do it. I mean, in a sense, we are talking about not even Argentina winning. It's about whether Messi will win it or not, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, perhaps only way this World Cup can be redeemed is Messi winning the World Cup. Kind of like with all what has happened and the popular narrative that's going on. Like, I mean, football offs Messi a World Cup. So
yeah, I mean that is true. Yeah.
but I don't know. But this destiny and all these things apart, this Argentina team looks very solid with or without Messi. Actually, like there aren't too many high-profile names. Back when Messi made his debut, there were all 11 players were stars. The other 15 who didn't play, they were also stars. There's not that kind of fanfare with this Argentina side. I mean, more kind of a stars in the making kind of a team. So there's not even Aguero is not there, Higuain is not there, Mascherano is not there. So this is kind of a low-profile Argentina team, but this Lionel Scaloni has worked has made an exceptional team with this. I mean, they've unbeaten on 35 games. They played a very fluid brand of bit of a Spanish possession-based kind of a game he has. I mean, which suits Messi, and Messi has also been in pretty good form with PSG this year. So the stars somehow seem to align for him, but you never know.
Yeah, and also that phase, right? The last World Cup, Messi looked completely lost on pitch. He was looking kind of cut a forlorn figure. But since then, Argentina have changed. You mentioned the 35 match unbeaten, and the last time they lost, I think, was in 2019. Since then, they finished second in the South American World Cup qualifiers. They went on to win the Copa America as well. There is a proper feel good factor to this team. And even though it's not a star studded team, it is a very effective lineup now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there are very good passers. There are, I mean, very good defensive midfielders, and the forward who actually draws the defenders into him and gives space for Messi and Angel Di Maria to attack. Very selfless striker Martinez. And when you look at Messi, also, I mean, he there's something extra about him. I mean, you saw him in Russia. He was like kind of forlorn and detached, kind of. But here he looks super animated. Remember the game in Bolivia where he was like when during the shootout he was like fist pumping, leaping in the air and telling other guys to mock at another guy and that kind of things. He was running from the half line, so you can sense that extra vibe to Messi, which is like which could be of a man who knows that he's nearing his last days. He need to make the best of it to leap into absolute footballing immortality.
And also, if we were to compare Ronaldo and Messi, I mean, हमें नहीं जाना वो tedious arguments में who among the two is better. But if we were to look at the current mindset, form, and everything, Messi looks in a much better space. I mean, things are going well for him and his club PSG. It's not the same with Ronaldo, although United are looking on the up. But Ronaldo, it's because Ronaldo is not playing. Unlike at PSG, where Messi just the other day played such a beautiful pass. Was it in the Champions League game or was it? I don't remember, but he looks to be returning to the peak of his past, which is good news, I guess, for everyone who follows Argentina.
Absolutely. I mean, but the thing with Ronaldo is that Ronaldo likes these kind of situations. He likes to I want to prove something to the world. Narrative works perfectly for him. Had Messi been in his spot, I mean, he would have been slightly again detached, aloof. He will be sulking. So mindset before the World Cup, obviously Messi looks in great mind. Looks very buoyant, but you never know with Ronaldo. Ronaldo, he is somebody who doesn't have destiny thrust on him, but he is somebody who acquires destiny, determination. I mean, when these two players started out, Messi was a slightly superior player. I mean, more gifted, more trickery, more game sense, you would say. But then this guy just exploded, and this guy just worked on his bits, and he was as good as Messi. In fact, he's won more titles with Champions League titles also during his time.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we'll see how this goes because Argentina, relatively compared to Portugal, they have an easier group. They have Saudi Arabia first, followed by, I think it'll be one of the matches of the group stage, the game against Mexico. And then they end their group stage commitments with Poland. They lost to Brazil, or I don't know whom they lost to, but they certainly defeated Brazil in the Copa final.
Yeah, they 2019 they lost to Chile in Copa final.
But Chile aren't here in Qatar, but Brazil are there, and as always is the case with Brazil, they are the favorites. But Sandeep, for me, this time they genuinely look title contenders, don't they? What a solid side, and of course, we'll focus on Neymar, but it is much more than Neymar, this team. There is Casemiro, there is Lucas, there is Richarlison, Rafinha, and it's a loaded team. Anthony, Jesus, and Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Danilo, Alisson in the goal.
And Ederson is, he won't get a game. Manchester City goalkeeper. Poor guy.
Imagine. Like, I can't think of a more complete team in this World Cup, and also promises to be a very beautiful team to watch if they click like they have been. They also, like Argentina, have been unbeaten in ages. Just so good, Brazil.
Totally. And I think that the number of players they left out, like Roberto Firmino and Renan Lodi and all the Filippo Coutinho. I mean, just to think of that itself shows the kind of depth they have. And not just, I mean, Brazil always had this kind of depth, but they've sometimes been very prone to self-imploding. But this time they look quite solid. I mean, they have. Last World Cup, Tite was a little overambitious. I mean, in sticking to the slightly expansive style of Brazilian game. But this time he has toned down a bit. found the kind of balance that the 2002 side has. Obviously, they have it's frightening options they have in the wings, in the midfield, wherever you look at it. They have players who can make an impact.
I mean, their bench is stronger than so many teams. I mean, you mentioned Ederson in goal. They also have Vinicius Junior, who will be coming off the bench in so many games, if not starting.
Oh yeah, Vinicius Junior. I mean, he will be one of the talents to look forward to this World Cup. An explosive talent. He's already one of the most sought after strikers in Europe, and which Real Madrid is clinging on to dearly. I mean, and he, as he showed in the last Champions League final, he was beautiful. He's such a beautiful player. He old school Brazilian player with a lot of flair and trickery, as well at the same time very clinical as well. And let's not forget this guy, Dani Alves. He's still there. The age of 39.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that will be some story if he wins that.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we've spoken about Brazil and we have not really mentioned Neymar as much as Messi or Ronaldo yet, but that shows the quality of this team. Sandeep, before we bring in Shashank, if you had to pick between Ronaldo, Messi, and Neymar as the player or a team or their respective team lifting the trophy on December 18, who would that be? Or would you pick someone else other than these three?
My heart goes out for Messi. But when you speak realistically, who do we say? It's pretty... You never know, man.
Brazil.
Must be Brazil. You see.
Yeah.
Neymar.
Yeah. I mean, just the conditions and the disruption, for me, it would mean a disadvantage for the European teams. We thought the same in 2014 in Brazil as well, where Germany went on to win. But yeah, this time it just looks...
We haven't talked too much about Germany, but Germany in a World Cup, always title contenders.
Always. That's true.
And Maria Götze also is coming back after his heart condition. So that will be... Actually, two people with critical heart conditions are back, Eriksen and this guy.
That'll be something to watch out for, because those two players can swing the fortunes of their team in their favor. Shashank, if I were to bring you in right now, well, you've heard us talk about Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal. Is there a team that you'll be following?
No, this is the question that I want to ask you guys. Which team should I be following? Should I follow Argentina? Should I follow Brazil? Should I be just looking at players, like you said? Should I be looking at Messi's journey in this World Cup? Should I be looking at Neymar? I want your opinion. I want your suggestions.
So that's how I've always followed my football. I've followed players and not a team for some reason, and that's how I think I'll follow the World Cup as well. I'll, of course, be starting somewhere with Argentina, because, it'll be nice to see Messi win the World Cup. But yeah, it'll keep changing. It'll keep changing. I'm always rooting for the underdogs as well at the World Cup. So yeah.
Root for Croatia, man. They're not underdogs this time. They have actually a pretty
team, no?
redeveloped side they have. Yeah.
Senegal, I think. Senegal will be my underdog team this time.
Aliou Cissé is coaching the team. Yeah, very some kind of a very strict disciplinarian man. They play a very disciplined style of...
He was there in 2002.
Yeah.
When Senegal came so close to become the first African side to reach the World Cup semi-final. He has a chance to do that as a coach this time if Sadio Mane is fit. So Shashank, if you're looking for an underdog, I'd suggest Senegal. If you're looking for romance, I'd suggest Messi and Argentina. And if you're looking to be safe, then I think Brazil looks like a very safe bet for this World Cup.
If you want to get really frustrated watching a team, follow England.
What? No, I think a bit of safeness, a bit of romance. I think I like the combination of that, and I think they'll be interesting. I think this combination would be interesting, or maybe it'll be easy to believe now after pitching me as the guy who doesn't follow sport. I don't think I've seen Messi play ever.
Oh my God!
I don't think I've.
God, I don't know what to do with this, Shashank.
Better late than never, man.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't I do something in the next football pod? Okay, if अगर मेसी ने एक गेम खेल लिया है, I'll definitely watch that and share my thoughts.
Please do. And for those of you, including Shashank, if you want to follow the World Cup, please do log on to indianexpress.com, because one thing, we don't know who will win the World Cup, but we do know for sure that Sandip G will be writing some fabulous pieces. We'll be trying to get him to on the pod as frequently as we can as well. And yeah, good luck to you, Sandeep Ji.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Shashank, with your first Messi experience. And happy World Cup to all of you. I think this is going to be the best 1 month of this year, perhaps the last 4 years too. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week.
You were listening to Express Sports by the Indian Express. This week's show was edited and mixed by Abhishek Kumar and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.